Have you ever written formulas in Excel only to discover that you're getting incorrect results? If so, it's highly likely that you're using absolute, relative, and mixed cell references in Excel incorrectly. In this video, let's understand what these references are and when to use absolute, relative, and mixed cell references in Excel. By default, the formulas you write will use relative references, and you can verify this by noting that there is no dollar sign before the column name or row number in the formula. The other way to know that you're using a relative cell reference is when you drag the formula down or to the right. When you drag a relative cell reference down, the row number automatically gets updated in the formula for that next row. When you drag a formula to the right, the column name gets incremented automatically. In our first example, the cell G4 contains the product of E4 and F4 to multiply the quantity and price and get the total amount. You actually need a relative cell reference so that you can drag it down and have G4 increment to G5 and G6. Likewise, E4 and F4 increment to E5, E6, F5 and F6 respectively. Let's now look at another example. Assume we have a discount of 5 to be applied to all of these calculated amounts. The discount is mentioned only in the cell K2, but if you use a relative cell reference of K2 in the formula on cell H4, then when you drag it down to cells H5 and H6, K2 is going to change to K3 and K4. This is incorrect because the discount should not be changing. In fact, there is nothing in cells K3 and K4. We need to change the reference to K2 to what's known as an absolute cell reference. The way you do that is by adding dollar signs before the column name and the row number. The other way to do this is to click inside the K2 cell reference and press the F4 or function F4 keys on your keyboard repeatedly until you see the dollar signs before the column name and the row number. Now that we have changed our reference to $K, $2, we will try to drag the formula down and see whether the discounted amounts calculated are correct. Let's change the reference in cell H4 to $K, $2. Now that we've changed the cell reference to $K, $2, let's drag the formula down. Look at the formulas in the subsequent cells. You'll see that $K, $2 does not change to K3 and K4 respectively. So we're using the fixed discounted amount to correctly calculate the discounted amounts for the products apple, mango, and orange. In most cases, it's enough if you understand the concept of absolute cell references and relative cell references. However, for the sake of completeness, let's also understand the third cell reference used in Excel. That's a mixed cell reference. This means that you might add the dollar sign before either the column name or the row number, but not in front of both of them simultaneously. For instance, we have added the dollar sign before the row number. This means that even if you drag the formula down to the next row, the row number will not change. Likewise, if you want to change the reference such that the column name does not change on dragging it to the right, then you'll need to add the $sign before the column name. In this case, since the row number is not changing anyway, you can remove the $sign from in front of the row number. To summarize, you require an absolute cell reference in your formula if you do not want to change the column name and the row number in that formula. If you want to change either the column name when you drag to the right or left, or the row number when you drag the formula down or up, then you might require a relative cell reference or even a mixed cell reference. I hope this video gave you a good understanding of the 3 cell references in Excel. As always, thank you for watching.